Hi there. I am on my Mac in the study of our home here in Vermont, and I have a fire going. I'm going to get up here and see if I can take you around a bit and show you this room. Let's see. Can I get the fire? There's the picture above the fireplace, which I don't know if you can really see. It's actually it's really a great picture. And then down here, I'm going to put this on the Lily's head. Okay, there's my fire, and there's Lily going, "What the heck are you doing, Mom?" And there's Lays doing the same. This is Lily right here. Say hello, Lily. Say hello to all the folks in the video land. And that's Lazy. Where is he? Oops, I unplugged my phone. Oh, she says, "I ain't having none of that. I'm out of here, Mom." So that was my fire, and one and a half of my dogs. So it's actually about 50 degrees out, and I don't normally have a fire when it gets this warm. But in Vermont, after winter, 50 degrees is warm. I don't know where you live, but 50 degrees might be freezing where you live. It was where I grew up. But it's cloudy and damp, and I decided that if I was going to have another fire in Vermont, maybe today would be a good day to do that, because in another couple of months we're going to be headed west. And so I'm having a fire, and I'm enjoying it. I got my cup of tea and my Pooh cup here. My husband has called me Pooh since we got married. And so somewhere along the way, I don't remember how many years ago, my children decided that the Disney store was the most wonderful place on earth. And every time they would go shopping at a mall, they would come home with Pooh cups for me. And so I have this enormous collection of Pooh cups, which are all boxed up, ready to make the trip out to Colorado with us. But this one I use all the time. So it's out. So anyway, gosh, total brain cramp, which I'm sure you're used to by now. Let me see, what else? Can I show you something else about this room? Nah, well, no. I'll get... Do I look like I'm on a roller coaster? I love roller coasters. I actually love all the really fast, whip you around and scare the shit out of you rides at the fair. But I had a major head trauma. Let's see, my Kelly is 28 or 29. I never remember how old my kids are. I'm like the worst mother ever when it comes to that kind of stuff. I had them all right in a row. My oldest one is 5.5 years older than my youngest one, and there's two in the middle. So so a lot of their younger years are kind of a blur in terms of, I even like I know that Favor was, well, the first three or 3.5 weeks short of 3 years apart. I got pregnant with my second when my first was 6 months old, and I got pregnant with my third when my second was 9 months old. So Travis was born, who's the third, was born 3 weeks before Favor, who's my first, turned 3 years old. And so, I thought it was like forever between Travis and Kelly because I waited a couple years. But still, Kelly was born when Favor was only 5.5. And so when my Kelly was 5, I fell off a horse, wasn't wearing a helmet, cracked my head open on a rock. Down here somewhere I have about a 3-inch horseshoe-shaped scar. Almost died, actually. The fact that I was in the physical health I was in is probably the only reason that I lived. The doctor said to my husband, the fact that she's so healthy is probably why she lived. And he was astonished because I weighed about 260 pounds at the time. And he kept saying to my husband, and my husband told me later, because I have no memory. I lost like 4 days. I was in ICU for 4 days, and I have no memory of that time. And my husband told me after, he kept saying to, or maybe it was my mom, kept saying to them, "She's so healthy for such a big girl." It was like it was totally beyond his ability to conceive that someone as large as I was could actually be the healthiest person he had ever seen in his life. Because it was totally outside of his box. But I was always active. I ate really well for what I knew at the time. I wouldn't call that eating well now, but at the time it was still better than most people eat. And and like I said, I was always active. I was always outdoors. I always had livestock. I had horses. My life was full. I was cutting down trees. We were really poor back then, and I would go out and cut down trees with a bow saw. They were about, trees about this big around. I mean, they weren't great big trees, but they were like about this big around. And I would go out and cut them down with a bow saw and drag them up into the yard and limb them all up with a hatchet and then saw them into stove lengths with the bow saw because we couldn't afford the heater in the house at that time was I think it was gas. I'm not even sure what it was because we never used it because we were too poor to use it. And so we had a fireplace insert in the fireplace in the living room of that house, and we heated it with wood that I cut down on the property, and I got good muscles. I remember once my son said to me, "Geez, Mom, your muscles are bigger than Pa's." And I started laughing. I said, "Well, don't, first of all, that's not true. And second of all, don't ever say that to him because I'll never hear the end of it." And I said, but when you're grown and you start thinking that, women are whatever, there's things that women just can't do. And you remember what the things that you watched your mother do, and before you get to thinking that women are second-class citizens. And I don't know if he even remembers that because Kelly was 5. Kelly was 5, so he was only 7, So maybe someday I'll remind him of that. Anyway, where was I going with that about being out in California? How did I get off on that rabbit track? See, I don't even know. I don't even know. I've completely lost where I started out. Doesn't matter. So it's I should be able to think of how I got. I was thinking about the head trauma. Oh, I got it. I got it. The rides at the fairs. I used to love those rides. They were like the best things ever. But after I cracked my head open, I can't do them anymore. I can't even swing on a swing. Nothing that makes loop-de-loops or whips you around like this. Because it just, after all these years, Kelly was 5. I think she's 28 now. And so after all these years, it still makes me immediately sick to my stomach, messes with my equilibrium somehow. Roller coasters I can do if they go straight. They can go up, but if they do the loop-de-loop things, I'll lose my cookies. I just can't do it. So which is really a total bummer because that was like one of my favorite parts of the fair was all those crazy rides. I love them, love them, love them. Just can't do it anymore. Can't even swing on a swing. If I sit on a swing, because every once in a while I think, it's all in your mind, girl. You can swing, and so I'll go get on a swing, and 5 or 6 forward and backwards, and I'm nauseous. So anyway, but I'm alive, and so that's the best thing ever. every day above ground's a good day. And actually, our days keep getting better. They keep getting better all the time. I got to tell you, I'm going to play with this a little bit. I'm learning how to use this Mac, so you're going to have to just bear with me while I my friend John, who teaches this video, if he ever sees my videos, he's going to be horrified because of all the things I do wrong. Someday, I keep saying this. Someday I'll be serious and I'll get it all down. Pat, I'll dress the part. Which actually, you guys probably would like to know that I have made a decision. In a couple of months, we're going to be in an RV headed off to Colorado, which is where my kids live. I have one in Ireland, and the rest of them are all in Colorado. And so it's very limited amount of space that we're going to have in the RV for things. And so we have to pick and choose what we're going to take and what we're going to box up and put into storage, which will haul. I have a Toyota truck, and we have a Durango to haul the RV. And so we're going to pull a trailer behind the truck for the things that are family mementos and stuff that won't fit in the RV, but that we're going to want to keep for when we find our land and build our ranch out there. And so we're going through starting the process now of sorting through our stuff. And so one of the things that I have decided is that all of my bag lady clothes are going in the dumpster. I am just not a clothes person, never have been. And I just wear them until they fall apart. And actually, some people think I should throw them away much sooner than I do. Well, first of all, I only wear natural fibers, and it's really hard sometimes to find natural fibers. And so when I find something that's a natural fiber and that's comfortable, that actually is comfortable to wear, I just keep it until it falls apart at the seams. But I have made a decision that all my bag lady clothes are going in the dumpster. They're not going with me. So your days of seeing this shirt and the purple one that looks like it are coming to an end, because when it warms up and I'm back into t-shirts, they're going to find a happy home in the clothes dumpster. So and I will mourn their passing, but you know what? I've got to get new clothes. There are some habits that need to be broken, and this wearing things until you can see yourself through them is one of those habits that Loria needs to break. So I'm going to, which requires going out and clothes shopping, which I absolutely just despise. I despise clothes shopping. I don't have one of those bodies that everything fits and looks marvelously on. I got big boobs and big hips, and I got a roll of around the middle, which is, slowly but surely going away, but it does make clothes shopping difficult. And so I've always just despised it. And of course, I learned to despise it when I was a lot bigger than I am now. I was at least 100 pounds heavier than I am now for most of my adult life. And that made it really dreadful to go clothes shopping and find anything that felt good and that you thought you looked good in. So anyway, I'm going to learn how to enjoy shopping for clothes. I've learned how to enjoy this computer stuff, which absolutely just caused my guts to knot up when I first started it. Because I couldn't do it, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, and it would just bring me to tears every single time I tried to do anything. But I just kept at it, and I just kept at it, and I kept at it, and finally it got to the point where I was comfortable enough that I actually could figure stuff out, that it got fun for me. And so most of the time now it's fun for me. And so see, you can always get from where you're at to where you want to be or to where you need to be. And I am Exhibit A in that regard, because I've have always been an animal person and a plant person. I'm an outdoor girl. I've worked horses all my life. I've worked with dogs. I've had farm animals. I've raised a lot of our own food. My house has been full of houseplants. I've worked out in the yard and had gardens a good bit of my life, and so I'm very familiar with a lot of that stuff. More animals than plants. I enjoy gardening, but I haven't done that enough to be really good at it. And so if you put me in a round pen with a horse who thinks that he would like more than anything else in the world to kill you, that I can handle. I'm really comfortable there, you know. Give me an hour with a critter like that, and I'll give him an education about the fact that no, I'm the human and I'm the boss, and you're gonna follow me. I actually learned how to do all that from Gianni Ponyboy, and it served me well. But unfortunately, it doesn't teach you how to make a video on a computer and get it posted onto YouTube. So in terms of this techno stuff, you know, for me to learn that was a challenge. I had to engage my brain in a way that it wasn't used to functioning. And so, but I've done it. And so no, and you can do it. If there's something that you want to learn and it's totally outside your box, and you have, uh, and your gut's not up at the very thought of contemplating learning something, then just give yourself a break, relax, and say, hey, you know what? I can do this one step at a time. Go as slow as you need to go. But what you silly creatures, my dogs are barking. I'm not sure why. Oh, my husband's here. Well, the husband's home. That's why they're barking. Silly creatures. They bark whenever we come in, and they're our dogs. You know, what can I tell you? So the fact that I'm learning how to do this, and my husband has learned how to do this, he's learned how to market on the internet, is what has made it so that we can quit our jobs and get in an RV and head west and relocate out in Colorado where our kids are, and then travel around and see the country, see the sights. We're going to go to Ireland this summer and see our daughter Erin, who is in Ireland. She's married an Irish boy, and they have a beautiful son. And I actually got to go to Ireland last summer for a month and be there for Braden's birth. And so my husband's last day actually is next Tuesday, and so we're really excited about that. And the company that we work for is a company that provides training on that's actually what we market. We market training to teach people how to market on the internet. So having those skills was imperative for us. And so we're really kind of on the cusp. We are not kind of. We are actually on the cusp here of being able to set out and do something that 5 years ago just seemed like how it was something that we wanted to do, but it was like, how will this ever happen? Because you know we didn't. We had jobs, and we were really enslaved to the whole job thing. And so I'm very, very thankful that that's not the case for us any longer. And I want to be a voice of hope for you that unless that's what you really want to do, you don't have to live there either. Nobody has to live there, which isn't something that we're taught in our culture. Kids are taught go to school, go to college, get a good job, work there forever, and then retire and hope that your retirement and Social Security will keep you functioning well enough until you die, which really is kind of a sucky way to live, actually. And people don't realize that that's bondage. People don't realize that debt is bondage. They don't realize that going to a job every day, your job is your master. It's slavery. Corporate America doesn't want you to think that way because they need slaves to keep going. If everyone in America decided that they were tired of going to work for someone else so that someone else could live their dreams while they never got to live theirs, if we all woke up and said, hey, how did this happen? How did we get here? And doggone it, I'm not going to live here the rest of my life. And decided that they were going to make their money doing something that they loved and providing a service, even if it's just more on a community level instead of a worldwide level. Life life would change. Cultures would change. Communities would change. We'd remember what it was to have real neighbors, not just people who live next door. I have someone who lives next door to me. And as a matter of fact, they bought our house. They bought our house next door, and they lived next door to us for 10 years. And I sometimes can remember the names of their children, and that's really sad. That is a sad, sad state of affairs. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only one who has neighbors that I don't even know. And it's because of the way we think we've chosen to live, but actually it's the way we've been trained to live. I don't know anyone who, if they actually sat down and really thought about how they're living, would choose that for themselves. But they don't know any better. It's like, what are the options? Until you really experience, because you see someone else living an option, then you don't know what you don't know. Like when I went to my math class yesterday, the guy said, well, do you have any questions? I said, no, actually I don't, because I know so little about this technology that I don't know what I don't know. So you just start someplace, and as we go along, it'll cause me to question some things, and then I'll ask. And so that's what we did. And so a lot of the things that I say on these videos is just to get you to question, is there another way to live? Is there another way to be? Can I be more free than I am right this minute? And can my life actually come to the point where it's about me, and where it's about the people that I love, instead of about my job and the things that I've been trained by my culture to think are important? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. You can have any kind of life that you want. It's just a matter of making decisions, as I said a couple days ago in one of my videos, that your life is the result of the decisions that you've made, and if you don't like where you're living, then make some other decisions. But you have to know what's out there. And so one of the things I'm going to do with this video when we get on the road is, this is why I call my video My Life with Lorianne series, because I want you to see the changes that go on in my life. I want you to see the places that we go. I want you to see the things that we experience, and I want you to understand that a few years ago, this was beyond our ability to conceive that we could live this kind of life. It was beyond my ability to conceive that I could go to bed at night and sleep until I just woke up, and that I could do that every day. That I could throw away my alarm, that my husband could throw away his alarm. In a week, that's the way it's going to be for us. If we want to throw away our alarm, we can do that, because we can go to bed at night and we can sleep till we wake up in the morning. We can do exactly what we want to do every day. We have our business that we have to poke around with, but we can fit that into our day whenever we decide to. And so, we can go to anywhere in the country we want to go. We can see anything that we want to see. And so for us, that's the next stage of our life, and we're going to really enjoy it. That might not be what you enjoy, but what is it that you enjoy? And would you like to do that every day? Of course you would. Everybody would. Would you like to make more money than you're making now on your job by showing other people how to be able to go to bed at night and wake up in the morning whenever they wake up, not by the alarm clock? Of course you would. Who wouldn't? I mean, it makes me warm and fuzzy inside to know that I'm making more money showing other people how to have the life that they want than I ever made doing anything else, because I'm helping people. I'm actually really helping people, and that matters to me. It matters a lot to me. So here I am sitting by the fire with my, and now let me show you. Let me see if I can get him now. Lazy, let's see. There's Lazy. She's the one that got all scared and ran away. And so there she is, all stretched out by the fire. And I'm telling you, when it's 100 in here, which it will be in a while, the longer the fire goes, the hotter it gets. And there's Oh, where is she? Oh, there she is. There's my Lily. There's my Lily girl. There's my fire. Let me tell you, when it gets 100 in here, they will be panting so hard that you're going to think they're going to die any moment, but they will not move. I swear they think that I start this fire for them, which I do not. I start the fire for me because I adore fires. I think the only thing I adore more than a fire is a hot bath, which I do every day. So anyway, that's Life with Lorianne for today, and I hope you enjoy your evening. I'm going to sit here by the fire until my webinar with the Daves comes on tonight, and then I'm going to be glued to that screen because I'm going to find out how the folks who have already made more than $1 million here with Empower. Oops, I can't say that. They'll take my video down. Almost, Lorianne, but I caught myself. Good for you, girl. I have such fun doing these things. I hope you have as much fun watching them as I have making them. It's ridiculous. Anyway, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.